Welcome seniors and any senior parents that might be watching this video as well. This is a recording of the College and Career Readiness presentation that has been given to seniors as a way to give them information as they get ready to prepare to apply to colleges and look at the schools. If after watching this video you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Mr. Dusing. He's more happy to answer your questions or set up a meeting with you and your family to discuss your specific needs you might have. Seniors, as you prepare for graduation, there are really four main options that you have of what you'll be doing after graduation. One is college. This video goes over a lot of information you'll need in regards to applications and financial aid. Others of you might choose to enter the military. I encourage all students to talk to a military recruiter just to learn more about the possible benefits that a military enlistment might provide you in your chosen career. We'll have a lot of military recruiters on campus this year, so feel free to sign up for a Pride where they might be presenting. Others of you might choose to work a full-time job. If you choose this option, I encourage you to make sure that you choose something that's going to allow you to grow into an adult, a job that is more professional, that'll provide career opportunities for you. Don't get stuck in the rut of working a high school job. Your time is a very valuable resource, and we want to make sure you get compensated properly for that. Then for some students, they may have a difficult time choosing one of these options, and so in the end, they don't choose any. We don't want any of our students to not be gainfully employed or set up for the path for success after high school. Please make sure you're using your time senior year to prepare a path that's going to make you the most successful after graduation. Many students are aware that the amount of education that you have, as that amount increases, so does your annual salary. This chart just kind of reviews basic information on the average salaries for each level of education. I do want to point out that there are many exceptions to this. There are many technical and trade careers out there that are paying significantly higher right now. There is a gap in employment for many career jobs such as carpentry or plumbing, electrician, or welding. A lot of those technical jobs, there's a huge growth demand, and so if you have an interest in those areas, I would encourage you to pursue those because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with your salary. Some of you may know exactly what you want to do in life. You might have a very clear path and be very organized and know all the steps you need to do to accomplish that. Others of you might still not be sure and are exploring a few possible interests. Others of you might have no clue what direction you're headed and are trying to slowly go about the process of determining that. There are a few guiding questions that you want to consider when picking your major or your career. First is, what do you like to do? You want to make sure you pick something that you enjoy. You'll spend a lot of time in your job over your years as an adult and want to make sure that you enjoy what you do. Don't choose something you don't enjoy just because it might have a side benefit such as a high salary. The next thing to consider is, what do you do well? You want to make sure that you have a talent for this. You want to make sure that you have skills that are going to allow you to perform this job or this career successfully. Another thing to consider is, what type of growth is expected in that field? Are you going to have a hard time finding a job when you get out? Last thing we want is for you to spend a lot of time preparing to go into a career only to find out there aren't as many jobs out there as you would have liked. Another thing to consider is, how long will it take you to finish your education? Is it a 2-year program or a 4-year program or perhaps a 10-year program? It's definitely something to think about, how much time you plan on spending in school just to attain your goal. Another thing to consider is, what type of lifestyle is important to you? Do you want a job where you'll be able to spend time with family? Do you want a job where you'll have lots of stuff like a car and a boat and a vacation house? All those things definitely take tough decisions. So please consider those and how they would factor into your job when picking a career. Don't forget you have access to your Zello account, which does have a career matchmaker program built into it. Though you've previously done this, you're a different student now than you were in 9th grade when you took the test. You might find by taking it now and taking it seriously, you might get some results you had not previously considered when considering a career. If you're looking to go into a job that'll have plenty of openings, these are the top 5 career sector needs in the greater Cincinnati area. Information technology, business, advanced manufacturing, transportation logistics, and health sciences are all expected to have rapid growth in the region. If you have an interest in these areas, I definitely encourage you to pursue what different types of job possibilities exist. One program I'd like to touch on briefly is the Kentucky FAME program. You'll hear more about this program in November and December, but since everyone's here at the presentation, I wanted to briefly mention it. This is a program connected to advanced manufacturing technicians. In this program, students are selected through application process and interview process. Companies hire the students, and they actually pay for their college education at Gateway, as well as paying for them to work part-time while they're going to school. Great opportunity in the advanced manufacturing field. I will send information to students and families once the application has been released, which won't be till later in the school year. It's usually this point of the presentation where I ask the seniors if they're feeling overwhelmed. Many seniors usually are. They're overwhelmed by the decision-making expectations that they feel. They feel that they are pressed to make the perfect decision, that there is one right decision on what direction their life should go after they graduate. That's simply not true. Seniors, you're making the best decision for you based on who you are right now. If you choose a college and later you decide you don't like it, you can transfer. If you choose a career major that you aren't happy with once you take a couple classes, it's okay to change your career. Adults do it all the time. Don't spend a lot of time stressing over trying to make the perfect decision. You're making the best decision for you right now. Keep that in mind throughout the process. So seniors, if you are not present for any of the presentations, there are two documents that you did receive or would have received from Mr. Duzing. One is a copy of the Getting In book. This is produced by KEA, Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority. I have plenty of extra copies in my room at Dixie. If at any point you want to stop by Dixie to pick up a physical copy of this book, you are more than welcome. You also could go to the KEA website and search Getting In, and you'll be able to find an electronic version of this document. There's also a two-page handout called the Senior Interview Tip Sheet. This is all the information I think you really need to know as you are getting ready for college. This document can be found online. If you need a hard copy, you can stop by Mr. Duzing, or you can just go online and download a copy of that. Later in the presentation, I'll show you exactly where that information can be located at. As we prepare our steps to get ready for life after graduation, it's important to remember we must graduate first. So don't forget, you have to meet all of your graduation requirements in order to get that diploma. You have to have your 28 credits and all the specific requirements. Your guidance counselor will be meeting with you to review your transcript and your needed credits. That will likely take place in late September and October. Also, don't forget, all students must pass the Kentucky Department of Education required civics exam for graduation. Most of you probably took that freshman year. If you've not passed it yet, we will be able to give you that test throughout your senior year to make sure it gets completed. The ILP is also a graduation requirement, which means you must complete your Zello account 100% by May 1st. If any of these things are not completed, you will not participate in graduation activities or senior activities until everything has been successfully completed for graduation. Even though everyone's already taken the ACT, some students are considering taking it again. These are the upcoming ACT national test dates for the school year. If you are applying to a college that has an December 1st deadline for application or scholarships, I strongly recommend that you sign up for the October 23rd ACT test. This is the last test date that you will be able to get scores back in time in order to qualify for any December 1st deadlines. In order to apply for the October 23rd test, you need to register by September 17th in order to not pay a late fee. So we are about 2 weeks away, a little less than 2 weeks away from the deadline to sign up for the ACT. So if you're thinking about taking the ACT, please make sure that you do register for that. You will go to the ACT website. All that information, the website address is on that senior interview tip sheet that you have, or you'll be able to find that tip sheet online. If you are free and reduced lunch, you are able to get a fee waiver that will cover the cost of the ACT. Just swing by the guidance office and ask your counselor, and they'll be able to get you a copy of the ACT fee waiver. We take the ACT because it does demonstrate your benchmark and your career readiness. So the benchmark is a score that lets the colleges know that yes, you are proficient in that academic area. In the state of Kentucky, the English benchmark is 18, the math benchmark is 19, and the reading benchmark is 20. If you've taken the ACT and still have not benchmarked, you are able to take the Coyote test. Seniors that are in College Career Readiness English and College Career Readiness Math will be taking the Coyote Math and English test at the completion of their class. If you are not in a CCR Math or English class and are interested in taking the Coyote, please contact Mr. Duzing and I will work to set that up. We may have you take a few Pride Intervention workshops prior to taking the Coyote test, but we want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to make benchmark if that is what they plan to do. Definitely check with the schools to find out. The last question I really want you to ask is, what happens if I apply test optional but my scores are on file at that college? This one gets a little tricky. We talked to many colleges and they've told us that if your ACT score on file, they don't really look at them if you apply test optional, which is really good for you guys. However, we got a memo last week from Thomas More stating the opposite. Thomas More has let us know that if you are applying test optional and they have a copy of your scores, then you will not be, they will use those scores. They will use those scores for admissions and scholarship opportunities. Meaning that if you send your transcript and your transcript has ACT scores on them and you apply test optional, they will use those test scores from your transcript in order to determine admission and scholarship eligibility. This also means that if you took the ACT and you put Thomas More down as a free school to send your scores to, they now have your scores, and that may impact your admissions based on non-test optional criteria. So just something to keep in mind. The important thing is to make sure that you are asking. It is a confusing time. You need to make sure you know, when can a school have my ACT, when can a school not have my ACT. A lot of things to consider, and if you have questions, please come see Mr. Duzing in the College Career Counseling Resource Center, and we will make sure that you get the answers that you're looking for. When requesting transcripts, all students must use Parchment in order to send their transcripts. Parchment is an online service that we use in Kenton County. It is an easy to find and easy to use program. If you go to the Dixie's main website, there's a big blue button that says Request My Transcript. All you have to do is click that transcript. Once you're on there, if you do not have an account, you would click New Learner Account. From there, you can enter your information, or if you get a registration code from the guidance office, you can put in the registration code, which will pre-populate all of your demographic information. So once you have created your account, then it's very simple. You just log in up at the top and you go ahead and you place your order for your transcript. You'll just indicate where you want that scholarship sent, and essentially order it, and then the Parchment account will work with Dixie Heights to make sure the transcripts get sent. It is important to note one tricky thing about the Parchment program. If you go in and look at your transcript that is on file listed, apparently it will be an older transcript. You are going to want to call Mr. Hughes and tell me that that information on your transcript is incorrect and we're about to send a wrong transcript. You do not need to, because it actually is not wrong. What you are looking at is whatever the last transcript that was sent or processed. Your new transcript is in the system waiting to be sent, waiting for a request from you to send it somewhere. So if you want to double check and see what transcript will the colleges receive, go ahead and request that a personal copy be emailed to you. You'll then be able to open up that document and double check, make sure it's correct. One thing to think about when creating your Parchment account or your ACT account or any account is make sure that you don't use your Kenton County student email. That Kenton County student email will disappear about 30 days after you graduate. You would lose access to whatever accounts you have associated with your student accounts. So please, again, make sure that you are using your personal email for this. Now, important thing to note about your transcript is your ACT scores are on your transcript. Well, kind of. I mean, sort of. Well, maybe. The way it works is the Kentucky Department of Education is the one responsible for uploading the ACT and assessment scores into Infinite Campus. Dixie does not upload the scores. We have no control over scores or when they actually show up on the transcript. Sometimes there is quite a gap in between when you've taken the test and when it finally shows up on your transcript. This is important to note because if you are applying for college, you need to make sure that college has your score and not just assume the scores on the transcript. In the past, we've had a student apply and be eligible for a very large scholarship from a in-state college, but the ACT score that qualified him for that had not been uploaded to Infinite Campus. He had assumed it was on file and it was not, and he was deemed not eligible to receive that scholarship. So students, it's very important that you guys take time and make sure your college has the information that they have. If for some reason you need to figure out how to get it to them, we are more than happy to let you know. Another thing about transcripts is regard to test optional. So we talked about those schools that you cannot get your ACT to. You want to make sure that they get a transcript without an ACT. At this time, the only transcripts that will be sent through Parchment have your ACT score on them. So if you are trying to send a transcript that does not have test scores, if you have to have a transcript that does not have test scores sent to a college, you need to come see Mr. Dusing. Do not put the request in Parchment, but please come see Mr. Dusing, and then we will work on getting that school your transcript without test scores. If you use Parchment and make a request, the transcript that gets sent will include your ACT scores. So it's very, very important to keep in mind as you guys are going through the process. One final note on Parchment is it is a free service for you while you're a student and 30 days after graduation. Once you get into July after graduation, there's now a service fee in order to send your transcript. Dixie does not get that service fee. It is billed by the company, and it is not controlled by Dixie Heights High School at all. So we do not have control over sending your transcripts for free. If you were to email us and say, please send my transcript, you will have to go to Parchment in order to make sure that that happens. So I apologize in advance if you call next August trying to get a very quick transcript and we direct you back to Parchment, but that is what will happen. So please take time and set up your Parchment account now. If you're not sure if your ACT score is on your transcript, or if you're not sure if you should send your ACT score because you're applying for test optional, please come see Mr. Dusing. These are all important things that have impacted our kids in the past, and we want to make sure that you guys are taken care of and you guys have a seamless transition to college. We are headed into application season. Some of you have already started your applications. If you've not started your application, it is okay. You're not behind. This is a process that lasts pretty much through November, sometimes into December. In order to find the applications for the college you're interested in applying to, go to their main website, and somewhere on that page will be a button that says apply or apply now. They make it nice and easy for you to find it because they want you completing the application to attend their school. I know at times it can get overwhelming. Students spend a lot of time thinking about completing the application instead of actually completing it. It's going to be okay. Review all the requirements, make sure you've got the right paperwork on file, look over the essays, determine which ones you're writing, and then really just make a timeline for when you're going to complete it so you can get it checked off your list. I encourage you applying to 3 to 5 schools with varying interest levels for yourself, just to kind of see which one feels best when all the information is in, like financial aid. You can also complete applications through the Common App if that college you're looking at participates in that program. This is where you complete one application and you're able to apply to multiple schools. Please be aware that sometimes when you apply to multiple schools, there will be different essay questions specific just to that college. You do have to pay an application fee usually when you submit your application. Not all colleges require an application fee, but many do. This is basically just to let the college know that yes, you are serious about attending their school. If you're free and reduced lunch, you could stop by the guidance office so we can check and see if we can get a fee waiver for you. Some colleges accept a fee waiver and some do not, but we are more than happy to help you guys determine whether or not you would qualify for a fee waiver. All students are permitted 2 excused college visit days during the school year. If you're going to take a college visit day on a school day, please notify Ms. Sizemore in the attendance office. She does require proof of the tour, so please just send her a confirmation email you received from the school. She will take that as verification of your college visit. It's really important to get out and look at the colleges you're interested in. Visit them, walk around the campus, learn about the student life, learn about the dorms, the meal plans, learn about the academics, learn about your co-op internship possibilities if you attend there. Please do not assume you will enjoy a school that you have not been on campus for. We want you to make sure you're making good choices. Each college is very different. Each college campus is very unique, and we want to make sure you find the right fit for yourself. It's easy to set up college tours. They're doing in-person as well as virtual tours. Just go to the college website. They usually have a search button and just type in tour or visit, and they will be able to give you all the information you need about reserving a time to go meet them and check out their facilities. We'll have a lot of college reps come into the building this school year. We will be offering college career readiness pride workshops throughout the year. We'll have military recruiters coming on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays are days set aside to have college rep visits. Please sign up for these rep visits. Get to learn about the many colleges. You might attend a workshop from a college you've ever heard of and find out that that school is the perfect place for you. Explore the different opportunities. We're very lucky to have college reps back on campus. They were not able to attend last year, so we're glad they're able to share their resources with us. You'll be able to go into your Pride app and register for those sessions, usually about 5 to 7 days ahead of time. There will be a listing outside Mr. Dusing's room at 1113 that will have an entire list of upcoming Pride workshops so you can make long-term plans as to which you want to attend. That list is updated daily due to different colleges getting in communication with Mr. Dusing to establish times to visit. Everyone is aware of the ever-increasing cost to attend college. Financial aid plays a large part in providing the opportunity for students to attend. Your Getting In book is a great resource to learn about the various types of financial aid. It covers the FAFSA process, keys money, it explains grants, loans, and waivers, and it also has information on various grant programs that students might be eligible to based on their intended career major when they attend college. It is an easy to read book, very helpful. I had a senior student last year in my house, and I found that book to be one of the most valuable resources that I utilized. I encourage everyone to look through it. The FAFSA is the primary financial aid document that gets completed by families. This FAFSA form, once submitted, will determine a family's financial obligation for college. This form is able to be submitted October 1st, 2021. The form does not go live until then. There's no deadline to complete the form. However, you are encouraged to get it in as quick as possible. Even if you think you won't qualify for financial aid, you do need to complete the FAFSA form in order to receive academic scholarships at many institutions. Mr. McDermott from Kia will be at Dixie on September 21st for a parent information night on financial aid. He will review the FAFSA process and answer many parent questions regarding financial aid. Another great resource for you will be to contact the financial aid department at the intended school that you plan on attending. They often know various ways to decrease the cost to attend their college. I would encourage you to set up an individual appointment with financial aid officer once you have your results of your FAFSA and just learn different programs that might be available. Programs such as Louisville's UPS Metro program, where a student can get hired on by UPS. UPS will cover the cost of tuition as well as pay for their employment. Western Kentucky University has an ROTC program that would help cover the cost of room and board. Many colleges have various ways that might make college an affordable option, but you have to talk to the financial aid people at those colleges in order to find out. Also, Thomas More will offer numerous FAFSA workshops to help families complete the FAFSA form. The downside, these are often later in late October, November, where some people have already completed their FAFSA form. I will get information out on those Thomas More FAFSA workshops when the information becomes available. If you have FAFSA questions, you can contact me, Mr. Dusing. I will be able to answer some general basic questions. I do not give financial aid advice or recommend how to fill out a form, but I can get you in contact with all the correct individuals to answer your questions. Another key component of financial aid are scholarships. There are 3 different types of scholarships. You have college offered scholarships, private scholarships, and key scholarships. College offered scholarships are scholarships that are given directly by that individual college and are only applicable to that college. Students want to make sure they get on the school's website and look up scholarship opportunities. They would be looking for scholarships for first-time freshmen, and then they would want to differentiate whether they would qualify as an in-state student or an out-of-state student, because scholarship offers are different based on those 2 admission criteria. It's also important to know the process to qualify for college offered scholarships. Some schools automatically qualify students for scholarships once they complete the application by a certain deadline. Other schools may send you a link if you qualify for their scholarship, while other schools might make you find the link and complete the application and submit it outside of the bounds of a regular college admissions application. It's important to make sure you're aware of the deadlines, whether it's admission or scholarship deadlines. Each schools are different. Please do not assume that all schools have the same deadline, because they do not. Many have a December 1st deadline. However, some more restrictive elite universities might have October or November deadlines for early admission. Please make sure you're doing research to find out which of those deadlines might apply for you. Private scholarships are scholarships that are awarded by private organizations or individuals. Mr. Dusing, once he becomes aware of these, will communicate them out to students through this senior newsletter and the Remind app. I will also post them to the scholarship website on the school counseling page. On that page, you'll typically find the name of the scholarship, the deadline, a description of the scholarship, as well as a link to download the application or a link to the online application. It is important that students are constantly checking this list. It does change quite often and will get updated, so please get in a routine of checking them. The other thing to consider is making sure you're applying for numerous scholarships. Many students also get discouraged and assume that scholarships will be awarded to students who perhaps have a higher ACT or higher GPA. The thing is that when many students think that, sometimes no students will apply for a scholarship. Every year I get called by certain scholarships and told that no Dixie student has applied. Please do not assume you won't get the scholarship and put in the effort anyway. That's an important piece. Please make sure you're applying for scholarships. Don't give up and continuously look for them. I will post scholarships as often as I receive them. The private scholarships, the majority of those will start to roll in January and February and March, April. There's also the Key Scholarship. This scholarship is awarded by KIA. It is what part of the state's lottery money is used for. Students that have a 2.5 GPA higher in a particular school year will qualify to earn a certain amount of money determined by KIA. Students must have the Social Security number on file in order to receive the Key Scholarship. In order to use the Key Scholarship, you do have to attend a Kentucky college or university. There are a few colleges that allow you out of state to use your keys if you're enrolled in a certain program. That information will be located on the KIA website. To access the private scholarship listings, you would go to Dixie School Counseling Services page, and on the left you'll see a scholarship information page. Clicking on there, you'll see any posted independent scholarship opportunities. If you would click on the blue link for the City of Erlanger Scholarship, that'll take you to the scholarship application. At this time, any student who resides in the City of Erlanger and has a minimum of a 2.0 GPA is eligible to apply for that scholarship. And again, this page will constantly change as more scholarships are reported to Mr. Dusing. Here's an important thing to know about deadlines, whether it's application or scholarships. I encourage you not to wait until the deadline date to submit your application and paperwork. We've discovered that some colleges begin to award scholarship money prior to the deadline date. We've had an incident in the past where students submitted their application on the deadline, only to determine that the scholarship funds had expired 3 to 4 days prior to that deadline. So please do not assume that you will automatically be given the money. It is always contingent on availability of funds. And so please do not wait for a deadline, and make sure you get your application submitted somewhat in advance. If you're applying any letters of recommendation, we do request that you ask the person recommending you at least 2 weeks in advance, and that will be 2 work weeks. Please do not wait until the day of Christmas break and ask for a letter to be done on December 31st. Those are non-work days for teachers, and we want to respect their time that they're going to take in order to write you a letter recommendation. Please give your recommender a resume or a brag sheet. This is information about you so that your recommender is able to write a letter that will properly encapsulate your qualities, your work ethic, and other positive attributes that will be beneficial to the college application or scholarship process. Make sure that you're aware of the deadline for the scholarship or admissions for when that letter recommendation is due, and please communicate that to the person you're asking to write the letter. Please make sure you ask the person you want to write your letter. Teachers often only receive an email confirmation because students will put in the teacher's email. They then forget to ask the teacher to write the letter. Teachers often don't write the letter until they actually have a conversation with the student, and I don't want that to delay or possibly impede the submission of one of your letters of recommendation. You're asking people a favor. Please be courteous and talk to them and ask their permission as soon as possible. So another beneficial page of the school counseling website is the senior information page. There's a lot of information on this page. At the top, you'll see the interview tip sheet. That is the 2-page handout that has been reviewed during the course of this presentation, that all students that received the in-person presentation received. You're able to download that document here. There's also a sample copy of a brag sheet. You're encouraged to fill it out. You do not have to fill out the entire document. You can just fill out relevant pieces. I would encourage you to give as much personal information as you can. You don't want your letter recommendation to just be a review of your transcript and your listed awards. The more detail you give us about why you've chosen a career or some of the more positive influences in your life, the more personal letter we'll be able to write you, which is exactly what the colleges are looking for. Underneath those few documents, you'll then see an upcoming events page. So that is where we'll have any upcoming meetings. And that is also where we'll wind up listing upcoming Pride sessions for students to participate. So the senior information and newsletter page is a very valuable resource if you are just coming back to see where information is. I will also post all of the senior newsletters to this web page as well. So one of the most important things you need to do this year is stay informed. Senior year is very hectic. Information comes very quick. A college will send an email with announcements. The easiest way for me to do that is through the Remind app. Please make sure you are a member of the Remind app. I have 2 classes for students to join, and then I also have 2 classes for parents to join. I do ask that parents not join the student account because there are only so many spots in the program, and I want to make sure that all the students get a spot should they choose to sign up for the program. Parents, if you're not sure if your kid is signing up, I strongly encourage you to sign up for the parent one. I will send all information to all of these. I will not send messages to students, but not parents. So if you're on the parent one, you will get the exact same information that having a student account will get you. Few upcoming dates. September 21st, again, as a reminder of that parent financial aid presentation, which will be 6:30 in the auditorium. I will be going into senior classes again in September, much like we did in the presentation for the CCR readiness. I will go into Mr. Gillis's and Mr. Kovaleski's rooms, and then I'll also pull students from electives to meet down in my room as well. I'm sure that we will also do a few online options for students that are not able to attend campus for the presentations. October 1st is a big date because that is when FAFSA opens. That is the first day you're able to submit your financial aid. And then October 14th is a regional college fair at Northern Kentucky University. That will be held 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. over on NKU's campus. This is a great opportunity for you to get out, meet teachers, see schools that you have never heard of, and give you an opportunity to learn more and possibly change your plans for the future if you meet the right college there. It's important you get out and do these things because the colleges have told us that they do keep track of every time they have contact with students. So if you do a campus visit, they document that. If you meet with their rep visit at Dixie, they document that. If you meet with them at a college fair, they document that. If you send an email to an admissions officer, they document that. This is important because when it ultimately comes down to a decision, and if they have two students with similar records, if they have one student they've been in contact with 6 to 7 times and one student they've been in contact with no times, then they are going to be more likely to offer the scholarship or admissions to the student they've had more contact in. So please make sure that you're networking and learning all you can about the college you're interested in attending. Here's a listing of just who your counselor is, so you need to contact if you're looking for recommendation or a question about your schedule. You are able to contact Ms. Hoffman if your last name starts from A to G, Mr. Ogles if your student name is last name H to P, and Ms. Miller is Q to Z. I'm Mr. Duzing, College Career Counselor, so I am able to answer any questions that you guys might have about the application process, college search, scholarship, financial aid, career questions, and even internships if students are looking for those possibilities as well. I am more than happy to meet with any student or any parent that would like to gain more information. Just ask advice. I have a senior in my house as well and will be going to many of these same events that I will see you at. Good luck on your college search and your college application process. Colonel Pride, and please reach out if you have any questions.